Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm going to copy this here link for people to join if they would like to. And we're off. Okay. Yeah, a long time ago when I was a wee little kid, I read the laws of thermodynamics, and I was shocked because to me it was glaring evidence of God, and it was a law of science. And it turns out that, yes, it's true that the existence of anything proves the existence of God. Because everything requires energy, and energy can't originate itself, energy can't order itself. So anything, any amount of energy, any quark, any uh, fluctuation of energy or whatever requires a greater energy, or is the result of a greater energy. These virtual particles that pop in and out of existence, and sometimes one stays, one goes, and one stays, supposedly. That virtual particle, they're called virtually because they cancel each other out, but suppose one stayed and one goes into a black hole. That's just a theory anyway. I mean, if they're probably both going into the black hole, but anyways, Stephen Hawking theorized that maybe one escaped because they're going, like, I guess the speed of light or close to that. So let's just say, that happens. It's still, all it is energy. A particle is energy. It's just a small, small amount of energy, which is the result of the existence of dilated time and distance to begin with. Because if you have time and space, you have a place where things can occur, which is the result of huge amounts of mass. And these virtual particles are just energy that are the result of huge amounts of mass in the universe, in the entire universe, because that's what causes the dilation of time and distance. If you have time and distance, then you have, the vacuum of space, where these virtual particles are said to be popping in and out of existence very quickly. But all it is a small amount of energy, which requires a greater amount of energy. It comes from a greater amount of energy, which is the fabric of time and space, which is the dilation of time and distance, which is the result of huge amounts of matter or mass, which is the cause of the vacuum of space, because the black holes are dragging space into the black holes, so that's causing a vacuum of space, and probably the redshift too. So the existence of anything is evidence of God, because it all requires energy. It's all made of energy. It's the result of energy. Which is the definition of God. Same thing for a working mechanism or mind. The machine comes from a greater intelligence, obviously, than what the machine is, and we are biological, chemical, electrical machines, mechanical machines, where the results of a higher intelligence, because our intelligence isn't enough to make or even back engineer, remake ourselves, or to, it's not even enough to resurrect ourselves. We don't have the mind or intelligence or knowledge or understanding to resurrect ourselves. And the universe is running down anyways, it's going to run out, and then what? It's not eternal. It's coming to an end. If it's coming to an end, it had a beginning, which is another thing. So, skeptics don't have anything to say. If you call yourself an atheist, you're even worse than a skeptic, because atheism can't tell you what is, and it tries to say there's no energy or no powers. When we know there's powers, we know all powers come from a greater power. So atheism is bankrupt, always was bankrupt, just that people somehow didn't see it. That atheism can't tell you what is, and it fails to say what is not, because it tries to say there are no powers when there are powers. There's volcanoes, there's lightning, there's kings, there's pharaohs, there's governments, there's powers. And all powers get their power from a greater power that gave them the power. All power comes from a greater power. Even the Bible says that, you know. And the Bible is not supposed to be a scientific book, but the Bible says there's no power that's not from God. That's science. That's what you can know. There's no power that's not from a greater power. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple and so obvious. And these skeptics, they think they're so great. They think they know so much. They think they're so smart. And they're total dunces as far as science is concerned. As far as the theory, no, it's not even a theory. The law of thermodynamics, the law of science, laws of science. So then they turn around and they say, oh, well, you can't know everything for sure, anything for sure. So if you can't know anything for sure, you can't tell me anything for sure. But I can sure tell you something, that everything requires energy, which requires a greater source of energy. It's not complicated. Look at your cell phone. When you charge your cell phone, you have an uneven gradient of electrons that flow into your phone. And if that gradient isn't uneven, it's not going to charge your cell phone. Same thing in mitochondria is an uneven gradient. You got proton pumps, more like an alternator, that charge up the battery in the mitochondria, which is called an uneven gradient to disguise it so you don't know it's a battery that they're talking about. And the proton pumps are charging up, making an uneven gradient of positive ions. So our batteries have electrons that move from the negative to positive. This battery in the mitochondrial has protons that move positive ions from the positive side to the negative side, turning an electric motor which drives and powers the formation of ATP from ADP, which takes energy. So we run on electric energy. It's just like a steam locomotive that you throw the charcoal in there or the coal or whatever it is. You heat the water, it makes steam, and the steam turns the turbine turns the wheels. Same kind of thing. You have all these different cycles, energy cycles inside of us, and the mitochondria being probably the most powerful one. Without ATP from the mitochondria, we wouldn't exist, we wouldn't live. That's our energy source, our powerhouse. You think we run up a hill by magic? No, it's electric motors. It's batteries that are charged up inside of you, trillions, trillions and trillions of batteries, and trillions of electric motors that are spinning and powering the formation of ATP from ADP. So, to deny that you have a maker is to deny reality and to deny the obvious. And it's a total shame and a disgrace. And people will be disgraced and ashamed forever, according to Daniel, because of this very thing, because of denying the God that they should know exists. But if you deny everything you see, then you probably won't know there is a God because you just lied to yourself hundreds of times, millions of times, or whatever. You just lie to yourself. You live in denial when anything and everything is evidence of your maker. Not to mention the programming inside of you that commands you to be a human instead of a gopher or a ground squirrel. Not to mention specific instructions that make every single directed working part of you that allows you to utilize the energy given to you, the power given to you by a greater power. It's just it's really, annoying. I was a kid growing up, and it would annoy me to no end to hear these big shot scientists speaking gibberish, thinking they know so much, thinking they know a lot. It turns out they don't even know anything. Everything they're surprised about everything they see in their discoveries and their probes. They send out a probe, and they're always surprised. They're surprised at this, surprised at that, surprised at the other thing, because nothing is the way they expected it to be. And you have creationists that make predictions that come true about the planets and magnetic fields of planets and all kinds of stuff like that. But it's just a total shame. I got my batteries charged up from the sun, so I'm good to go for a while. But it's just amazing how people deny the obvious and then they attack creationists. They make fun of creationists, they attack creationists, they slander creationists, saying they don't know what's going on when they need to examine their own beliefs about their magical existence, believing in that matter ordered their existence. Well, where did the matter come from, and where did it get its orders? How was it able to order your existence? Even if it was magical, where did that magical ability come from? Where did the existence of matter come from? Where did the properties of matter come from? Programmed to order you to be a human. You think the properties of matter made themselves? No, every element, every atom is forced to be what it is. And it's in biology, all the atoms and molecules are directed to do what they do. Programmed, literally programmed to do what they do. Everything about us is programmed predetermined, pre-existing written instructions, directives that order you to be a human. And it's still viable programming after more than 6,000 years. We can't make a cell phone that lasts more than 2 or 3 years. Hello, Honesty Angel. How you doing? Yeah, where did it come from? Where did it go? And that's the good question is where do people go? Where do souls go? That would be a good question. But anyways, it's just amazing how the skeptics get it all wrong, all backwards. They're the ones that don't have the evidence. They're the ones that believe in fantasy. They're the ones that speak gibberish. They're the ones that don't have a clue of what's going on. And they're projecting and saying that creationists don't know what they're talking about. But it turns out, I knew when I was a kid studying the laws of thermodynamics that it proves the existence of God. I knew that as a kid, and I was a kid a long time ago. And every claim that evolutionists ever made has always been disproved, and it always is disproved, always will be disproved, because they continue to make claims like junk DNA, ERVs, all kinds of claims, which all are always disproved every time. Every claim they can ever make is always disproved because there is no evolution. It just doesn't exist. Evolution doesn't exist. And they try to say variation is the same thing as evolution. No, it's not the same thing. Adaptation is not the same thing as evolution. Copying errors don't equal evolution. And it goes on and on and on. And it's amazing how there's people that still believe in evolution. But anyways, I think it's past my bedtime. I gotta go home pretty soon. I gotta go downhill where I got less of a signal. So, and I don't blame the skeptics for not wanting to have a discussion because there's nothing they can do to win. There's nothing they can tell us. They don't have anything to tell us, to correct us, to inform us, because we know the truth. We know we have a maker and that all things come from the all-powerful, all-knowing, eternal maker, including time and space, or time and distance, which means the entire universe, everything, because it's the black holes that are holding the universe as far as dilated time and space together. It's all the black holes around the universe that determine the dilation of time and distance. So anyway, that's about it, I guess. I'll just go ahead and go unless there's somebody else that wants to say something. Then I have to find my way back in the dark. It's already getting dark. So, guess that's it. No takers. Everybody take care. Everybody self isolate because our predictions from weeks ago are coming true. We predicted weeks ago, I predicted weeks ago myself that there would be a new Wuhan. Instead of New Amsterdam and New York, it would be New Wuhan. I predicted that weeks ago. And you would think the CDC would come out and figure that out, but only today they came out and made projections of how many people, how many hundreds of thousands of people are going to pass away. Anyway, but yeah, but we've been saying for 6 weeks now what's going to happen. But anyways, it's all water under the bridge. Now we got to deal with, you know, life as it is for the next month or two. And I don't know how long I can keep from going to work. I talked with my what do you call it, manager, and I've arranged for the next couple of weeks to stay off, but I'm gonna have to go back pretty soon, one of these days, probably in April, sometime in April. Hopefully, I have enough vitamin D stored up. Anyway, everybody take care. God bless.